Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Clarity Soft webinar. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, and our topic for today is new release features that we've put out this fall. We put out a major release in September the 18th, which was a new user interface, which probably caught a few of you off guard when you logged in and found that the screen looked different than it had the day before. And then we also just put out a new release this past weekend on November the 7th. So we're going to be talking about all the different things that have been released since September. And yesterday, when you logged into your Clarity Soft, you noticed that a release notes screen popped up for you to view what new releases or new functionality had been put out on November 7th. And there's another way where you can go and see releases if you've missed them. But from moving forward, we will be putting new releases out once a month. And each time we put out a new release, the morning after the weekend, when we put out that new release, you will get the pop-up that says this is what is new in the software. So you won't have to go hunt it down anymore. We figured that was a good way to inform everybody about any new releases that we've had. So we have a good group today. And so we're going to move right along here. What we want to talk about today is, first of all, the new user interface and the way it looks and feels that was released in September. Part of that new user interface is a quick access panel on the right side of the screen that you may have discovered or not, but it allows you to pop in your calendar and make appointments, view your calendar right there wherever you are in the database. You no longer have to go to the calendar module, which I think is really awesome. And then we have an activity feed that when you're in a record or clicked on a record in list view, when you pop that open, you will see what you've done with that record, all the different changes you've made or activities you've done. And then the quick view we've had ever since the beginning of Clarity Soft, but I think we had it well enough hidden that no one ever used it. So I will introduce it to you today because it may be something now that you would start to use. And then in the My Settings, under the Settings, we're going to go to the Preferences because there are some preferences that each of you as an individual user can set for yourself and that you don't have to be an admin user. And then there are things that you will have to be an admin user for to make changes. One of the very exciting things we've brought out are what we call pipeline boards. And this is something that an admin user will need to create, and we will walk through the steps to do that and then see how those pipeline boards work. And then in the user interface templates, we now have the ability for the admin user to customize the column settings. So if you have a large number of users, and if you're setting up your database and you would like to have your users when they first log into Clarity Soft to have all the columns that you would like them to see in accounts and contacts and opportunities, you can now set that up in the UI template. There is also sub-tab column customization available, and that helps make it easier for you to get your users started because they're seeing the fields that you would like them to see. And then you do have the ability to either lock that customization so people cannot change it, or to allow them to just change it themselves. And then the last touch date, this is something people have been asking about for a while. We have had the last touch date in accounts and contacts for quite a while, but we've just added it to opportunities. And the last touch date is tracking the last time you completed some sort of an activity with the account or contact. And now you can see it in the opportunity record. And then the other thing that's been added to the last touch date is when you send an email from Clarity Soft out, it will also update the last touch date. So that's another new option, which I think everyone is going to like because we send so many emails that have that last touch date update according to an email will be really helpful. And then the last one is a last order date field has been added to the accounts module so that when you're looking at an account record, you can see the last order date for a sale. So if you're using the sales module, then you might want to pull that last order date into view in your user interface template in the account record. So these are all the things we're going to look at, and hopefully you'll get excited and start making some changes to your database. So let me go to my Clarity Soft. And I'm going to start, first of all, with, well, where do you find these release notes? If you miss the little pop-up or you want to review it, you can go anytime to the question mark button up here in the upper right and go to the knowledge base. Oh, well, this is lovely. Where did it go? There it is. And down here underneath the buttons, you see release notes. And then right here, this is the text that you saw yesterday when you logged into Clarity Soft. Okay, so this popped up, and then you can see things that were done on the 11th, and then the 9/18 was when the last big one was done with the change in the interface. So those release notes are always there, but like I said, they're now going to pop up when you log in after we've done a major release over a weekend. So about once a month, that should occur the first weekend of the month. Okay, so that's there. And the new user interface, if you notice, we did make some changes. Some people got a little bit like, what happened to this? But we've kind of cleaned this up a little bit up here, and we added an icon for each module. And then we took what originally was your drop-down list of saved filters or views, and we moved it from here up to underneath the name of the module. So this is the same, it's just in a different position. So these are all your saved views or filters that you create with the advanced search, okay? And so you can switch to those. So those were moved. Quick search here is the same. The spyglass with your searches is the same, okay? And then select users that you want to see. So these filters are all the same here. Now, what we did change in the advanced search, if I go to advanced search and I set up a filter to find by the, say, the industry type, then I can pick manufacturing. So this is just standard search. But the difference is then when you come back here, previously this said advanced search view in red, and then you had 3 buttons here of what you can do. Well, we put the 3 buttons underneath this new term, search options. And now you see you can edit the view where maybe the filter didn't work exactly as you expected it to, so you want to edit it. You can save it, or you can cancel or clear it, okay? So if I wanted to save this, I could call this manufacturers. And then click save. Then that name now appears under my list up here. Okay, so I now have added that to my saved views. So that's the main difference there. When you do an advanced search, the text says search options, and your buttons for doing what you want to do with it are underneath that search options. That was another thing that we changed, which threw a few people off, okay? But the functionality is still the same. And then the other thing that we just changed the wording on is over here, this used to say list actions. It now just says actions. Same options are here. Nothing's changed here. And what these act upon is when you select more than one record over here by clicking and check boxes, you can, go down along here and click multiple records, or you can click all of them, or you can do a filter and then select them, whatever you want to do. Then you go to the actions menu and say, I want to group edit them, I want to view the contacts, whatever, and then it shows you. So that's still the same. All right. The other thing that we just added this weekend is this button here. You can now take this navigation panel and collapse it to make it narrower, where you only see the icons. And when you point to an icon, it tells you the name of the module. Okay, in case you can't figure out what the picture means. That was our struggle, was what does this picture mean? And does it make sense to people? And then you can click the plus sign to re-expand. So this, especially for those of you that might want to show a number of columns in your list view, it gives you some more screen space to work with on those columns. All right, so you can collapse or expand that. Then over here on the right, we have this vertical strip that is called the Quick Access Panel. And we have 3 buttons here. And these are the calendar, the activity feed, and the quick view. And as I said, the quick view we've had from the beginning of time with ClaritySoft, but it used to be hidden up here underneath the vertical ellipsis. It was underneath tab settings where it said quick view under here. And I don't think a whole lot of people ever noticed it. Now that it's here, it's a little easier to access. You just click the button and pop it open and pop it closed. So that's there. So where the calendar works nicely is if you wanted to set an appointment for someone, or maybe you're talking on the phone to somebody and they say, well, let's schedule another meeting for next week, when are you available? It used to be you had to come over here and click on the calendar module to open it up, which meant you left where you were, and then you had to come back, which I think for a lot of people, they just maybe had a second monitor and they opened their Outlook calendar and went there first. This may persuade you to do it differently, where you can just simply click here, pop open your calendar. You can see what you have scheduled. You can go to any date. You can view the month, whatever, and look at your schedule. And then you can just click on a day and time, and it will open an activity. You can schedule the activity and set the contact person. No matter where you are, you can start typing in the contact person and then save it, done. And you haven't left where you were. You don't need to leave where you are, okay? And that's really nice. And if you're in an opportunity, you can pop open the calendar, and actually the contact person will auto-populate in here because you're connected to a contact. I'm an account, so it's not doing anything for me there. But I think that's a really nice functionality to have, because it saves you having to go to another module. So when you're done putting it on the calendar, you simply click it to close it. If you need to see your calendar again, wherever you are, you pop it open and go where you need to go. And then from in here, as before with your calendar, you can always open an existing appointment and put in your notes. And then, you can complete it from here. So it really makes it a lot easier to do those things, and kind of persuades you to use your ClaritySoft calendar first, and then sync your ClaritySoft calendar over to your Outlook calendar. So yes, they do synchronize. You can go both directions, or you can go one direction. You can go from ClaritySoft to Outlook only, or from Outlook to ClaritySoft only. I think this way will allow you to set your appointments in here and then synchronize over to Outlook. The reason I usually suggest that is you will get more detail, because in here you're going to have your contact person, you're going to have what your activity is, all the information, and it'll go over to Outlook, whereas sometimes things come from Outlook into ClaritySoft, and you've noticed in your activities list, it'll say general activity for the account name and general activity for the contact name, which means it doesn't know who it even belongs to in the database, so it causes you problems. So I think this is going to be a really nice functionality for everyone to start using, because you can access it anywhere. If I go to opportunities over here, I will see it. It's right here all the time. Pop it open and create my activity. Click, boom. Okay, so that's there. Then the activity feed is, I'm going to go back to accounts. Nope, that's leads, excuse me. And I'm going to click on this company now. You can highlight a company by just clicking somewhere on the row, and it turns a nice light gray. It's really hard to see. Or to be more specific for yourself, you can click in the checkbox, but you don't have to. And then you can do this activity feed, which then pops open to show you all of the stuff that you've done with this account. Okay, now a lot of these say 2 weeks because this was when it was switched over. Okay, so it just set it for 2 weeks. But the more recent stuff, I had a call to check on their coffee supply 23 hours ago. Okay, and then another call was set up. And so you can see an email to update. And so that's updating the activity feed. And then I updated a contact record. So you can see what I've done here with this particular account. And notice it includes the contact as well. So it's really anything you've done with the account. And I've got another one here. Oh, that's the one. Where's the other one? This, was this one it? Yeah. So if I click on it and do the activity feed, then you can see the things that I've done. And so this one was done about 4 hours ago. Okay, so it will start tracking. You'll even do seconds, like 36 seconds. So you can see your activities. Yes, we do absolutely have a plugin for Outlook. And I will go show you where that is in a little bit. Where you install our Outlook plugin, and then that allows you to make the connection between Outlook and ClaritySoft so that you can save emails that you've either sent or received in ClaritySoft or in Outlook, sorry, back to ClaritySoft and attach them to the appropriate contact or opportunity wherever you want to save it in the database. And it allows you to sync your calendars. So yes, we definitely have that. And then the last thing here, this information one, this is the quick view. This pops open a list of all the different fields that are in the record, the account details, okay? So if you have certain columns in your list view here, you can put into this the remaining fields, and you use this little gear shape, and then you say, well, I want to pull over the account type, and I want to see their address because I want to see where they are. So again, this is all set up per individual person where you can decide, well, what are the fields that I want to see in this quick access view? And I mean, you literally could pull them all over if you want, but you choose which ones you want to see, and then they will show up here. And so if you're looking at a record and you want to see the detail, then you click this little button and it pops in, shows you the detail that you've set up, and then it closes. And you don't, if you don't need to open the record to view it, you can just use the quick access. And then the other thing too, even if you wanted to add an activity to this record, you don't have to open the record to do it. You can do it one of two ways. You can click on the row action button, and then you can see view contacts, log an activity, add a new activity. But if you're adding it to your calendar, you just go to the calendar and do it. So you can do anything here that you want to do. And, or you can click on this expand button and you see all your tabs. And then you can see who the contacts are. If you need to email one, click on the email to link it. If you want to see all your activities that you've done, they're here. Okay. If you need to see an opportunity that you have going, you can access it from here. So there's lots of ways in ClaritySoft to just work super efficiently. And you just need to kind of figure out what works best for you. So use, explore these buttons. Then this button is what opens your record. So if you need to edit something, then you want to open it and make the changes and save the changes. If you don't need to edit something, then you can use one of these other methods to get to what you want to see and do. All right. So those are kind of the user interface things that you can do. Then the other ones, I want to go to settings up here. And those of you that are non-admin users will have this section called My Settings up here. And so you've got a preferences. And so your first preference here is your time zone. All right. Now, for those of you that maybe haven't set these kinds of things up, you should be set up. If you're a user in here, your admin person would have set this up. But just so everybody knows this, since I have a good group here to listen to this, if you move from Eastern time to Central time or something, you'll notice when you click here, this is basically looks like a text box. So what you do, but it's kind of a magic text box, because I want to change this from Eastern to Central. So I can just select the text and start typing Central, and notice all of the time zones that have the word Central in them pop up, because this is the entire world. And here's Central Standard Time. You can change it. So you can set any user who's anywhere in the world to the proper time zone. And you just have to start typing it in there and it pulls it up. We didn't make it a giant drop down because you'd be scrolling through so many time zones to find it. We made it more of a search. So for some of you that might have people scattered around the world in different locations, you can easily set their time zone, okay? Or you can set your own time zone, because this is my preferences for what each user that's logged in. Then date format, we've put the different standard date formats that different countries use. For the most part, United States uses month, day, year. Canada is usually day, month, year, but then they also use this. So it's kind of a mix. And then the default calendar view, when you go to your calendar, what do you want to see by default? The week, the day, the month, or an agenda, okay? So I think the pop-in, I'm not sure you can have the agenda for the pop-in one, but you can try it. But you can set your default. Then the default module is when you log into ClaritySoft, what module do you want to go to? Where do you want to start your day? Do you want to start in accounts? Do you want to start in activities where you see your to-do list of activities? Do you want to start in opportunities because that's what you're working on, most of the time? So you pick where you want to start when you log into ClaritySoft, and then it will go to that module. So for example, if I switch mine to opportunities, the next time I log in, that's where I will go. Now, this default board view, we'll come back to this. That has to do with the pipeline boards. Outlook Contact Sync, don't think about that right now. That's coming. Record conversion. This gives you an open and a do not open. If you are using opportunities and you're converting an opportunity to a quote record, if I say do not open, which I believe is the default, then when I convert the opportunity is going to convert it. It's going to tell me it created a quote record, and it's just going to leave me sitting in the opportunity record. Then I have to go to quotes and find the quote and open it. If you change it to open, what happens when it converts the opportunity, it immediately goes to quotes and opens the new quote record for you. I really like this. This is something I use because as the implementation person, we convert an opportunity to a project. And so now when I convert an opportunity to a project, it immediately opens my project record and I'm ready to go and work in there. So this is a personal setting that each user can decide what to do. And if you don't like it, just come back and change it back the other way. Okay. And then this one is another one that we had a request from a number of people. When you convert a lead to create an account, a contact, you get the option of creating an opportunity at the same time. There's a little checkbox in the conversion window. Well, some people said, well, if we're converting a lead, we're always creating an opportunity. So can we have that checkbox checked by default? And so we said yes. So if you set this to yes, then every time you convert a lead, that checkbox for creating an opportunity is automatically checked already. If you say no, then you have the option of doing it. So it just depends on your process and what you want to do. Okay. And then I'll just leave that there. Then products and services. If you're using opportunities, quotes, or sales, you know that the products and services are a separate tab. We've made it so that you can actually show them in the details tab of the record, okay? Now, I'm not going to change this at the moment because I want to make sure everybody knows what it looks like now, and then we'll know what the change is, okay? So I've made changes here. You need to make sure you click apply to save those changes. And then the next time you log out and log back in, that's when all of that will take place. But while we're in here, the other thing that we added in the new interface are new color themes. So right now I'm on Clarity Blue. I'm going to go to nice fall color and I can pick this. And when I click the back button, I should be in this nice orange. Okay. So we made some new color schemes. If you're sick of the Clarity Soft Blue, you can go there and change your theme and according to your mood for the day. Okay. So that's there. So all of these, the main thing in the settings for the non-admin users is in the My Settings, your preferences, set your preferences here. And then if you want to change your theme, you can set that there, okay? Everything else here is the same. If you need to change your password or want to change your password, you can do that. So you need to know your current password and then you add your new one. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't remember your current password, then you might have to talk to your admin person to actually go in and make a change to your password. And then you'll have to, so you can get logged in, because if you can't remember your password, you can't even get in to get here. So anyway, so that's that. Now, going on to the, let's see, the last touch date and the last order date, okay? The last touch date already exists in accounts and contacts, but it has been added to opportunities. But if I go to opportunities and I open a record, it is not visible in the record yet. Okay, it's in the database, but it's not showing up in the record. So as an admin user, you need to go to settings and go to user or customization and then UI templates. And then on the right, you go to your opportunity UI template. Did I click on it? And then once you get to the drop down here, it's asking you which access profile you want to use. Now, for many of you, you're only using one access profile. So you pick that, usually it's the all profile. So you pick that one, and then you'll see your screen layout. And over here, you see last touch date. And I can hear such a cry of excitement from a whole bunch of people that have been wanting this for a long time. So you can put this anywhere you want to put it. You know, if you want to stick it up here, wherever you want to put it. So you put that in. And then the other thing that I was talking about before, the sub-tab columns and the columns in the list view, here's where you can set that. So you can say on the column customization, you get to decide, well, what columns do you want your people to see? Not Clarity Soft, okay? So again, whatever columns you have, which might include some custom fields, like here's industry type, it's a custom field. You know, you would look and see, well, what do I want people to see when they log in to Clarity Soft and go to the list of opportunities? What, oh, I think these two are the same. I don't even know what I have in territory, but we'll just see. So anyway, you move them into the order in which you want them, okay? And then over here, you click Apply Columns to Users. So that will apply it to all the users that have the all access profile. Now, if you want to, you can lock this. I don't think I recommend you doing that, because then your people can't change the columns themselves and they might get a little frustrated by that. So I don't necessarily recommend that. That's really up to you. But as long as they can have a set of columns that are the default, and then they can make changes to them, then that gets them started. Then you choose what column to sort by, and then the results per page. I usually recommend set it to 100. You don't want 20, you know, just go to the max. That allows you to see more in a scroll. So that's your columns. Then your sub-tab columns, what these are for, when you're in an account record or contact record, and you click on the Opportunities tab, then under that tab, these are the columns that you currently see. And you, again, can control which columns you see. So maybe, oh, just for jollies, I'll bring the email over, because maybe from that location, I'd like to have the contact's email address for the opportunity available to see, and you can just click on it and send it, although you can also do that within the record. But again, you can look at what you have and then apply it to all the users. Okay, and then this is sorting by the close date, and again, displaying 100. So those are all of the settings that I want to make right now in my opportunities. So I would click Save. That will save the changes for the all access profile. Now, if you have other access profiles that you're using and you want them to be the same, then what you need to do is say copy to and select the other profiles that you want to copy the same settings to. Okay, and you would know which ones you would need. Right now, I'm copying it to the sales team. Okay, so I click that and it then saves it. And then when I go to the sales team, you should see no changes in the screen. It doesn't even look like anything's done. Okay, so that's what you want. Your screen layout is the same. There's my last touch date up there where I put it. So that's how you do that with your user interface templates. All right. Then after you do all of that, you need to log out and log in. But before I do that, we're going to go find that last order date field, so we don't have to log out and log in too many times. So the other change was in the account UI template. And I'm going to choose my all profile again. And over here, I see last order date. Now, if you're not using the sales module, this won't do you any good. But if you are, then it could be useful. I'm just going to stick this over here. Okay. So I move that into position and save it. And again, I have a column customization here where I can set up my default columns that I want my users to see and apply it to everybody. All right. And then save it. And then once again, whatever I've done here, I'd want to copy to my other user interface template. Okay. Then now I've made all these changes in settings. Now I want to log out. And I tried to do them all at once so we didn't have to go in and out 15 times. Oops. All righty. So when we come back in, notice I'm landing in opportunities. That was my preference for when I log in, what module to land in. These are all the columns that I set because I added industry type and interest level, okay, and territory. I think I also added contact, okay. So those are all set. If I open the record, I will now see the last touch date right there, okay. So as soon as I create an activity, that will update itself. So let's say I want to log an activity. And again, for those of you, this is a little different up here, but we have these shortcut buttons up here. This is to send an email. This is to log an activity that's already done. This is to create a new activity that you want to schedule. This is to create a new meeting, okay? And then this is to add an attachment to the attachments tab. So a lot of these are shortcuts for instead of clicking on the tab and then clicking the plus sign over here, you go up to here. All right. And then this is to convert the opportunity to a quote, a sale, custom module, or a project. So that's the convert button. And then you have a more button here that's additional things that you want to do, add an action plan or clone the record. So if I wanted to log an activity that I did, because the last touch date will go with a completed activity, I'm just going to do a call and just say this is for the last touch date. All right, it's got the date and time in here already and some garbage notes. We don't really need them, but we're going to save this. Now, what I need to do is I've found that I actually need to save and close the record for some reason. I'll try saving it. Yeah, it didn't do it, but if I do a save and close, it will show the next time I opened it. But I also can go up here to my vertical ellipsis button, column settings, and pull last touch date right here and click apply. And there it is, 11:10. So it shows up out here, no problem, after you save and close. And then when I reopen the record, it will be in there. So this is something that a lot of people have wanted for a while because they want to know, well, when did we last work with the opportunity, not just the contact or the account? So this is very helpful to a lot of people. And like I said, this also pays attention to when you send an email out of Clarity stuff. So if I were to click and send an email out, it would update this again for, the new time that the email went out. So that's new. And then if I go to accounts, I will see in the account record the last order date, which right here. So the last order date was 11/9/2020. Okay. So this is helpful to see. And then you also can have it show up in your columns. So you use your column settings, find your last order date, pull it over, and then you would see that. So this is looking at the sales module, and it's pulling the date of the last order. Then you could do filters on this and run reports and that sort of thing. And then just so everybody knows, if you are in an opportunity, because somebody's going to ask this question, I want to see the last order date in the opportunity maybe. Well, okay, that's fine. All you have to do is open the opportunity that you're working on. And over here, you have the account tab. And when you click on it, there's your last order date. Okay. So you can see it in the record by clicking on the account tab because the data, all the fields for the account record are visible here. All right. So I figured somebody might pop up with that question at some point. So it is available to you there. All right. But you've got your last touch date now. It works with emails. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. What else do I have here? The next one, pipeline boards. Save the best for last. Okay. In opportunities, if you haven't noticed this already, but over here you have this button that says board view. And when you click on it, it says, oh, there are no boards, you need to talk to your admin. So maybe some people have come to you, if you're the admin, to say, what are these things? Well, what they are, they're basically, it's something called Kanban view. And you click on it, and it will then, according to a board view you've defined, and you can have a list of different ones, it will display your opportunities in this board view, where instead of seeing the list, you see an icon for each opportunity and what stage it's at. So we can see we have one opportunity at discovery, one at prospecting, so on and so forth. And it gives you the value of all the opportunities for that stage. It tells you the value of each opportunity for each icon. You can open the record from here by clicking on the little pencil. So if you needed to edit it or you wanted to add an activity to it, you do that. And then when you do save and close, it will bring it back to board view until you turn it off. If you're moving, let's say these guys are moving from presentation to a quote, you don't have to open the record and do it, you just drag it. And it will automatically update the sales stage inside the record to quotation. So you can drag them from place to place rather than opening them and editing them, okay? The other thing here, right now, this filter up here is for active opportunities that are due to close this month, which are the opportunities due to close in November. So if you look at all of these, they have a close date sometime in November, okay? When I change this, to active ops close date this quarter, that's going to show me all my opportunities that have a close date for October, November, December. Well, since we're already in November, some of the October ones probably need to have their close dates updated, okay? So that they're more, because they're already past due. But you pick your board view and you see things according to the filter that's up here, okay? If I did all active opportunities, then I'm going to see yet a different number, okay? You can see I'm a very bad person on keeping up with things. So all my active opportunities go backwards here all the way for a year ago has a close date. But this is kind of nice to be able to see all these and then be able to view them in this more icon type of view format. So for a lot of people, that's easier to see, more flexible in how you can do things with it. So the next question is, how do I create a board? So what you do is, and you have to be an admin user, you go to settings, and on the left, you will go to customization. Then you will go on the left down to opportunities, and underneath opportunities, you will see pipeline boards. And then you'll be able to create as many pipeline boards as you like. So if I want to create a new pipeline, I can give it a name. I think usually what you want to do is drag and drop something. So if I wanted to see all of my stages, then I can just drag these over in the order that you have them and just drop them into place. And maybe I want to see the ones. And maybe I want to see the lost ones as well and the no decision. I just want to see them all so I can see where we are. So then you can say, this is all stages. Again, you give it whatever name makes sense to you, okay? And then you have to scroll down. You can't see the save button right now, but you got to scroll down and click save, all right? So now I have 3 boards available, okay? And if I want to edit one, I can edit this. And let's just say I put new board here. Let's just say one, oops, and lost. Oh, my W is not working today, guys. It's sticking. Okay, never mind. I'm going to put inactive. All right. It's decided to be cantankerous. All right. So I'll save that. So I changed the name of it. I could change boards. So I have these pipeline boards now. And again, create as many as you want, any combination of how you want your stages in there. Then the next step is you do need to add them to the user interface template, okay? Because you can create pipeline boards that only certain people you may want them to see only certain things. So you add them to your user interface template, and we've given you a shortcut to get there. Instead of having to go over here and click on it, we've given you this little button, and you just click on it, and then it takes you directly to where you pick your Access profile and then go from there. So, oh, it actually goes all the way in. It chooses my standard profile of all, okay? And then you can see, here's my screen layout. Here's all the other stuff we were just looking at. But now this new tab is here for pipeline boards. So then I can grab, just like the fields, I grab the boards and put them on the pipeline boards board view tab. Okay, then save it. And then just like with the other custom fields, if I need to copy this to my sales team. I do that. All right. And then log out. And when I go back to my opportunities, it does go back to list view, but now I can click on board view and I have all stages opportunities. So all my board views are right here and I pick the one I want. And then I can come up here and say, I want to see all my active opportunities. And I will then see them and I'll see what is going. Now, active, I shouldn't have called that all active opportunity. Oh, it's all stages opportunity, excuse me. Let me do this, because all active will not include one lost and no decision. So if we just did, well, here's 20, nope, that's one. If I just did opportunities, let's just do all opportunities, I guess. These will be ones forever. But then you'll see over here, we have one lost and no decision ones, okay? So your active opportunities are anything that is not one, not lost, and not no decision, okay? Inactive opportunities are one lost and no decision. So I kind of led you a little bit astray here. But yeah, so according to this filter, you will then see your opportunities in the board view, okay? And then all you have to do if you want to go back to list view is click on it and you go back to your list view. The other thing we did in here, which I like, is we've always had the value of the opportunities at the bottom here, which is kind of hidden, and we've moved it to the top in this nice box. So that's much easier visually for you to see, then so that as you change your filters here, you're seeing the value change and it's right here in front of you, not down at the bottom of the screen. So that I like too. That's part of the new interface. Okay, so that's a board view. I think I got it all. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, I think so. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask, but I'm going to drop back to the Outlook plugin since we had a question on that one. So if you want to type a question in the Q&A, go ahead while I'm answering this other one. So for your Outlook plugin, you go to the question mark knowledge base. And then if you click in the search for answers, type Outlook plugin and hit enter, you're going to go to the Outlook plugin advanced. And then this is going to give you directions. So there's a little video here that shows you how it does it. When you install it, this is what the button is going to look like, because it allows you to save an email to a contact record, to a lead, a project, an account, or an opportunity. And then you can set up your calendar sync between ClaritySoft and Outlook. Now, sometimes this button is more collapsed and it's a button and then you click on it and then you see these options. It just kind of depends on the screen resolution on your computer. So, but the button will be on the home ribbon. The other thing that you'll need to know before you download is which version of Outlook you have. And the way that you figure that one out, let me see here. Is you go to your Outlook and you click on File, and then you click on Office Account, I believe. And then you do About Outlook. And when you click on that, up here, it will say either 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, so once you figure that out, close your Outlook before you run the program here, the download. But just click on the download and it's going to do a wizard. It's just going to pop open, and basically you just click next, next, install, let it install, and then click finish. And then you go back and reopen your Outlook, and you should have the plugin button on the toolbar. Here, let me go back here. Here, right here, see my Clarity CRM. When I click on this, there's all the options. And then the next step you'll need to do, and this is all in the directions, is you'll need to go into the bottom right corner, click on the little arrow, and then mine says connected, but it'll pop up with this login window. So this is your ClaritySoft login. Your credentials for getting into your ClaritySoft database, you type those in, you click login, it'll say you're successfully connected, and that's all you ever need to do. They are now connected. And then from that point forward, you can click on an email, and then you can come up here and say, save to a contact. And then it's going to come up and say, well, select from auto detected or search for a specific person. So even though the email might be to me or from me, I can save it to anybody else in the database. So you can pick where you want to save it, and then you just click save, and then it will come up and say successfully saved the email. And when you go to that contact record, it will be under the closed activities. So definitely, if you have not installed this, it's something you want to do. And if you need some help with it, just call our tech support team. They'll help. No problem. So absolutely, you want to do that. Okay. And for those of you that are using Gmail, we have a Gmail extension that works the same way. So if you're not using that, then just look up Gmail here in the help and it will tell you. But this walks you through all the steps and tells you how to set it up. Okay. And then it explains how to save your email. So it's all right here in the knowledge base. All right. No. Alex is asking, will all emails from Outlook sync to contacts? No, you control it. So when you're in your Outlook, emails come back into your Outlook, and then you say, oh, this email here, I want to save back to ClaritySoft. And the other 50 I've received today, I don't. Okay, so you choose. And usually what I recommend, if you're in a conversation with somebody via email, you might send them an email and they reply and you reply and they reply, and then finally your conversation is ended. You take the last one and save that one to ClaritySoft, because then it has the entire thread of conversation in the email and you don't have 6 separate emails saved. It's less cluttered. So yeah, it's at your discretion which ones you save back to ClaritySoft and where. Okay. All right. Hey, I made it 2 minutes early. That's pretty good for me. So hopefully you got some good ideas, and now you understand all these new things you've seen on the screen and maybe were afraid to click on. Now you know that absolutely you should click on them and begin to use them. So like I said, we had a really good crowd today. This is great to have this many people. So I will let you go and have a good rest of the afternoon. I guess I should bring up my PowerPoint here just as a last thing. If you need any help, call our tech support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, and they'll be able to help you with any questions you might have on any of these topics. So good luck with stuff, and hopefully gave you some new ideas on how to better use your ClaritySoft. Thanks and bye.